If you see a robbery go down at an Apple store, are you an eyewitness? The ammunition and equipment you see featured in today's episode of The Quiet Rifle came to me courtesy of Hermann Sporting Guns and Air Rifle Slugs Australia. Hermann's were nice enough to send me some slug liners so that I can test these heavier slugs out and make these videos for you. So if you do like what you see, make sure you skip on over to Hermann Sporting Guns website. There'll be a link in the description. They stock all things FX, lots of different accessories from lots of different manufacturers, full-size firearms, pistols, and a wide range of optics and accessories. So make sure you check them out. Air Rifle Slugs Australia has a huge range of slugs and a huge range of calibers, and they're also carrying element optics, patchworm cleaning kits, craft and lift, all the good stuff that you really want in your safe at home. They also have a 10% discount going on at the moment for items marked with this little hashtag, as you see here. The Zans have got it. Nothing on the Patriots yet, but H&N, RAB, NSA, all of these other slugs down here, they've all got it. And if you pick 5 items and add them to your cart, it doesn't have to be the same 5 items, but it could also be the same 5 items if you want. You can buy 5 boxes of the same slug or 5 different boxes of slugs, add it to your cart, and you'll get automatically a 10% discount on your items. As you can see here, we've got 5 packs of 22 cal slugs and it's given us 10% off. So if you are liking what you see in these videos and you do want to get your hands on some awesome slugs, go to airrifleslugaustralia.com. Lastly, if you live a little further away than Brisbane, because that's where Air Rifle Slugs is, jump on SJs Trading Co. and have a look at the Element Optic scopes. They've got awesome little helix, one of my favorite scopes. Find yourself a dealer near you and have one of these fine establishments send you one. G'day, we're back with another ammunition analysis for you. We are going to be looking at the Patriot Javelins today in 26 grain, 22 caliber guys. These are the 218s, and I've quite enjoyed using these. These are a little bit easier to get up to high speed with a closer to standard gun like mine. I don't really have that many power mods on mine. With the other ones, the 30 and 34 grainers, you can run into some troubles if your gun doesn't make enough power. But my gun seemed to make enough power for the 26 grainers, even though they are 218s, so they're a little tighter in the FX barrels than the 217s are. It uses ever so slightly more power to push a 218 down. There's just a little bit more friction to overcome, but with a slug in this weight bracket, not that big of a deal. Any hoozles, speaking of lightly modified guns, I'll give you a quick rig rundown on what I'm using to do this test. We got my FX Impact X Mark II, KLS2 stock at the back, very adjustable, very wonderful. Ultra Grip pellet probe carrier, carrying my pellet probe, Ultra-Lee. Beautiful K&L trigger guard with Arca Swiss all the way along, little T-rail in the bottom so that I can mount my glorious little Vipertech bipod. This thing has been great. It seems like they don't get any coverage at all across our little gun tubing world, but highly recommend it. Good product. Craft and lift again with the range extender, and then on top of the range extender we'll have my beautiful Element Titan sitting in a set of X-Tech rings with a Vortex bubble level on there. 34 millimeters of premium glass. Very happy with that. And basically no power mods. So it's just the 700mm barrel with a superior liner in it and the power plenum from Vladan. So no other juicy bits to mention there. No wild over-the-top power mods. That's all easily installable stuff. So let's run the numbers. The Patriot Javelin 26 grainers have a BC of 0.081, which is high. It's high, it's not astronomically high, it's not up around that 0.1 mark like some of the other ones are. These 34 grainers, they're a bit outrageous. They're 0.105 and the 30 grainers are 0.094, which are both very high. And these are ever so slightly lower. So if you do have a ballistics computer that requires you to use 0.1 as your lowest possible BC for this type of round, whatever you want to call it, then it is going to be a little smidgy off. So maybe use something like Strelok Pro just to double check. validate how far out your other ballistics computer is going to be. That's usually only for when you're using things like a Kestrel or a scope with a ballistics computer in it. They're generally much more simple and much less user-friendly than the Strelok type apps. I measured 50 of them. I took 50 of them out of this little here gubba and poured them out and weighed them. And I got 3 of them at 25.8 grains, 23 of them at 25.9 grains, 20 of them at 26 grains, and 4 of them at 26.1. So we've got 4 different weights there, 0.1 grains apart, but the vast majority of them are within that lovely 0.1 high or low. So 43 of them out of 50 are within 0.01 of a grain, and then you've got 3 low and 4 high as outsiders to that core group of 0.1 grain plus or minus. So very good, not the best, but very good. As we get to the accuracy test, that didn't really play a huge part in anything. Anything right around that mark is pretty normal. It's only some outliers that you'll get where you'll find out that they have a tighter spread than that. It's not normal to have more accurate weights than that. The condition that they're delivered in is good. There's a few little minor bumps and bruises and the odd little ding on the base, not every round but some of the rounds. Overall, they are nice and clean and they have big juicy hollow points, which we like to see on a hunting round like this. Price. Let's talk about the price. I've given them a yellow rating. They've fallen into my little yellow category. These are completely arbitrary categories, by the way. I just made this chart up and sort of with my opinion of the market and my opinion of getting to play with so many different types of ammo. That's kind of just what I've given it to give it some sort of a visual representation. With red being very expensive, yellow being fair, blue and green being nice and cheap. Fair market value, I think, for price, because the price is $35 for 200 of them, which works out to be 17.5 cents per shot. That is slightly higher than the Zan 25.5 grains at 14.5 cents per shot. A little bit higher than the NSA 24.8 grains at 10.5 cents per shot, which is very cheap. H&N 25 grains at 13 cents per shot, which is that's cheap as well. And they're obviously way cheaper than the FX hybrids, which are roughly the same weight. But then again, what isn't? So as far as the numbers go, I think that represents good value, good weights, good condition. Not the best, but pretty good, pretty damn good. You're going to be happy with them. You're not going to be upset. You're not going to open this tin and find a bunch of wildly different weights and damaged rounds or anything like that. It's going to be fine. Let's do some accuracy. The conditions that these groups were shot in was pretty feral. So I'm pretty happy with what I've come up with. There's a few bigger groups, but I think I've got a few things to show you that will give you the confidence to step out and make the purchase if you're on the fence. It was windy, it was raining, so much so that I didn't actually put my camera out. I didn't film myself shooting these. It was gross and I didn't want to get my camera wet. So I shot these groups quickly and I was trying to keep the water off my gun as much as possible, but they still came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with them. This is 25 meters just to 0. So one group here, one group here, one group here, all reasonably tight. Nothing crazy. Outside edge to outside edge, 10 millimeters, 15 millimeters, and another 15, maybe a little bit less on that one. So reasonably good. Usually with 25 meters, I'm not gonna spend all day shooting at 25 meters, especially in the rain. So just slapped out those ones and skipped on out to 50 meters. Right, 50 meters. 1, 2, 3. They're okay. They're not great, but they're okay. Especially considering the conditions. So murky that I didn't even put a camera out. So that one is 1 1/4, 0.75, and this one is another 1 1/4. So between 3/4 of an inch and 1 1/4 inches, depending on which way the wind was blowing and how far. You can see they're fairly tight groups, but there is a little bit of horizontal dispersion making them bigger. Vertical dispersion's good. You know, we're talking 20 mil max, so happy with that. Got done there and raced on out to 100 meters. Here we go. So there's a few big ones here. This was when the rain really kicked off, of course, when I'm shooting the longest distance that I was going to shoot that day. Standard stuff. So the rain knocked these ones around real bad. Same with this one. But there's a few smaller groups here, which I think are indicative of what you're going to be able to achieve with a good tune, with the right liner in there, and in better conditions. Usually I shoot roughly 1 to 1.5 inch groups with reasonably good ammo if I'm shooting at 100 meters. So you don't expect really good bench groups from someone like me. I'm often out of practice. Like, it goes weeks and weeks go by where I don't shoot. So I get out there on the range, and then I have to sort of blow the cobwebs out a fair bit before I get anything worth talking about. Once I'm all warmed up, I start getting groups like this and like this and like this. Give these ones to the weather. They're big, very big, 6 inches. What have we got here? 3 inches and another old 4-incher over there. 3 inches there. That's weather. That's not the round. We're here to review the round, not the weather at my house. And I think that when you're going to be shooting these, this is what you're really going to get. You're going to tune your gun well, use the right liner, and you're going to get, that's a sub MOA group right there, 3/4 of an inch, 1.5, another 1.5. So I would say 3/4 to 1.5 MOA with average Joe shooter like me. You know, if you spend more time on the gun and you get more regular practice, you're going to get better groups. All of your groups are going to be like this or better. The consistency in the numbers that we measured with the weights and with the condition that they're delivered in, they're more than good enough to achieve sub MOA accuracy if you've got the time to finagle your gun and tune them in and fine tune the barrel harmonics as well. Very accurate round. And remember that these bigger ones, while they look scary and disappointing, that's rain. That's what rain does. So to wrap things up, real world conditions as always at my place. You never know. Maybe one day I'll be able to buy 50 of these shipping containers, daisy chain them all together and have my own 100-meter indoor range. But I have to take the days that I have with the time that I've got and the ammo that I've got to shoot those groups. And I really do think that you're going to easily be able to achieve MOA groups at 100 meters, no worries with these, and that's a good standard, I think, for a commercially available round. Straight out of the tin with no sorting, no lubing, no nothing. It's all just straight out of the tin, straight into the gun. Tune her up, get down there, and start shooting. I think with a little extra time and a little extra patience, you're going to get excellent results from your Patriot Javelins. I really like them. I like the big hollow point. And we've all seen what the boys that make them can do with them. They're all shooting birds at 200 meters with it, doing pest control. So I am 100% on board with the Javelins. Hodjo's seal of approval. Goodbye.